comments? Nope. Alright, finish it up.
What's up, agents? How y'all doing? Hope everybody's hanging in there, being as safe as you need to be during this glorious holiday season. So 2021 is almost passed. We're almost at 2022. We're going to go over a build that we have not actually brought forward for a couple of seasons. We made some changes. It's our Stinker Close Quarter Combat build. Before going into it, I just kind of wanted to quickly talk about the Division 2. You guys noticed that my content is cut down a little bit. I'm not coming out with as many videos, and that's mostly because there's nothing new coming out, which leads me to this kind of mini discussion, which is what's up for the future of the Division 2. You know, they got the Division Heartland that's going to be coming out. Looks like there hasn't been a whole lot of effort given to the Division 2 in a while. After Warlords of New York, they came out with the seasons. We've now been recycling the seasons and the manhunts. They're really not adding anything new. I had figured by this point what they would have done is brought the classified gear back from Division 1. For any of you guys who don't know what that is, instead of just having the 4-piece gear sets, they extended them. So if you got classified gear, you could get a 6-piece bonus. And you notice there's a lot of builds now. There's a lot of builds that actually people aren't even running any gear sets in the Division 2, where all these high-end builds and hexotic builds are, you know, beating out a lot of the gear sets. And that's one of the things the classified gear sets took away from. If you weren't running classified gear sets by the end of the Division 1, you're probably losing out on some damage or some other benefits that you'd be giving to your team. And we haven't seen that here. And at the same time, there hasn't been any acknowledgement of new content, anything cool coming out. So I'm a little nervous for the future of the Division 2, but it may just mean that, you know, we're going to be moving on to other things. Maybe it will be the Division Heartland. Maybe there will be some other interesting thing coming out. And who knows, maybe there will be a saving grace that comes down the pipeline where they actually bring something to the Division 2 in 2022. So here's the hoping. I hope that works. But without further ado, let's get into the Stinker CQC build, what we've changed, and how effective is this build. If you like blowing shit up, check this out. This thing makes it happen. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do, unlike a lot of the skill builds, is we are going to spec full Demolitionist for our specialization. And the reason is we want to max out as much explosive damage as we can. Explosive damage is multiplicative with all the skill damage and other damage bonuses we get. So you want to stack up as much explosive damage as you can. So by getting access to explosive ordnance, we will get a 10% bonus to our explosive damage. Additionally, we will get the Brace for Impact, which will make us able to ignore explosion once every 60 seconds. This is the enemy's explosions, and if for any reason we mess up and somehow, you know, cause an explosion on ourselves. I've downed myself a few times, not so much with this build, but a lot of the explosive builds, you know, you can be in a weird spot, and it can actually save your own butt. And the only other real thing that we're looking for with the Demolitionist is the crisis response, and this means every time your armor is broken, you're down to 0 armor, it will automatically refill all your weapons. And then the other thing is we get the grenade launcher, which is an explosive damage weapon. We're boosting our explosive damage, so you should be doing some solid damage with the grenade launcher if you decide to use it. So moving on from the specialization, we're going to get right into the skills. It's what makes this happen. So we are going to be using a combination of the Stinger Hive along with the Cluster Seeker Mines. Of course, the Cluster Seeker Mines are explosive. Everybody knows that. But not a lot of people are aware that the Hive, the initial hit from the drone is considered explosive damage, and then the damage after that is bleed damage. So we have a 2.8 second cooldown and 18 charges on our Stinger Hive. Now you guys will notice this cooldown is about twice as long as we had it before when we were using the BTSU gloves. We've gotten away from the BTSU gloves and we are moving over to Waveform. There's a couple reasons, we'll get into that in a moment. But because of that, we will have a longer cooldown time on the Hive, which really is not of that much detriment. Notice our Hive is doing in excess of 1.2 million damage with the initial drone hit, and our bleed is doing over 58k per tick, and this is not considering any additional damage buffs we're going to be adding, so all these numbers will go up from this baseline. The Cluster Seeker Mines, we have 10 mines. We have a cooldown of 31.1 seconds. However, this is going to be mitigated through our gear. And our Cluster Seeker Mines will be able to do in excess of 3.25 million damage per hit. Now, one thing to note, you guys will see smaller damage numbers than that, and people are like, wait, I'm supposed to be doing all this damage. Remember, that is with the direct hit. The further outside the radius they are from the explosions, the less damage they're going to take. And if people are hit with multiple explosions at one time, sometimes you can see damage numbers in the 6 million plus if guys get hit by multiple explosions. So you will see varying numbers from this, but believe me, the damage is there. The one thing I will note is you do want to make sure that you try to get your cluster mines as close to 31 seconds as possible. The reason why I like 31 seconds and not below 30 is if I get below 30, I can have it where I think I should be able to get my skill back. I'm putting out my Hive to recycle. We'll get into that in a second, but that extra 1.1 second is about the deployment time. So you really do want to aim between about 30.5 and 31.5 second cooldown on your Cluster Seeker Mines. All right, agents, now we'll get into the gear. First, we'll talk about the gear sets. We're going to use 4 pieces of Hardwire. The 2-piece set will give us 15% additional skill haste. The 3-piece will give us 15% skill damage. We could also get 30% skill repair, but we're not using it in this build. And then the 4th piece will give us access to the feedback loop, which means every 20 seconds we will be able to use a skill or cancel a skill and get a 30-second cooldown on our other skill. And this way we will be using our Hive in order to refresh our Cluster Seeker Mines every 11 seconds or so instead of every 32 seconds. Now you ask, how are we going to be doing that if feedback loop has a 20-second cooldown? Well, we are going to be using the backpack, which comes with the short circuit talent, which reduces the feedback loop cooldown from 20 seconds to 10 seconds. So you count the deployment time of 1 to 2 seconds, so that means every 11, 12 seconds we're going to be able to put out a new set of 10 Cluster Seeker Mines. In addition, you will notice that every piece of the Hardwire gear, we are running skill damage. We want to max out our skill damage every place we can. Now, moving on from the gear set, we are using one high-end piece. We are using a chest piece. We're choosing China Light for the innate 15% explosive damage. If you don't have the perfect China piece, you can use Wyvern. It'll give you plus 10% skill damage. This will be additive with all the other skill damage bonuses you have versus the 15% that you get from the China Light, which is multiplicative since it's explosive damage. So I highly recommend you go with the China Light piece. However, Wyvern will work. Now on this, we went with skill damage, and we are choosing to go with status effects, and that's because I want to get the bonus damage to the bleed from the Stinger Hive, plus anything if you blow up a barrel, shock, anything that causes damage to the enemy, you will do bonus damage because of that status effects, as well as glass cannon. Now, this is going to be the biggest damage bonus we get. It's the highest reward with the highest risk. We take 50% more damage from every source, but we deal a multiplicative 25% bonus to everything. And this is at the end of the equation. So after all the other damage bonuses, you'll do 25% on top of that. So the largest damage gain you're going to get, it has no ramp-up time, no cooldown time, any of that. But you do have to be more careful because you can go down extremely quickly if you're caught in a disadvantageous position. Now, I will quickly note there are some less dangerous chest talents you can use. Now, you could go with Overwatch. This would be a team benefit by staying in cover, which we are most of the time. You would be able to give a 12% damage bonus to your and your teammates' skills and weapon damage. So this would be a great team buff where you're helping the entire team out. You could also go with Spotter, which would be a 1.15 multiplier instead of the 1.25 multiplier glass cannon. However, you don't take that bonus damage. The downside is you do have to have enemies pulsed. Normally, if we're running the Technician Specialization, we would have access to the Link Laser Pointer. We could put that on our weapon, pulse guys with our weapon. We're using Demolitionist. That's not an option. So the only reason I would run Spotter is if you're running in a team where somebody's either running a pulse or somebody else with Technician is running Link Laser Pointer, and they are handling the pulsing of targets so that you can do that bonus damage with Spotter. The only other chest talent I might consider running would be Explosive Delivery, and this would be because we are stacking explosive damage. Explosive Delivery adds a grenade effect to your deployed skills. So this means your cluster seeker mine, where it initially hits before it expands out, it would create an explosion there, as well as your stinger hive. Normally I reserve the explosive delivery for my build using a restore hive. That way I can use the restore hive as a weapon too, but it is something you can use in case you have the God Roll China Light chess piece, but it's with explosive delivery. That can work to good effect. You just won't do as much overall damage as glass cannon, but hell, you won't be anywhere near as squishy. Let me talk about the last gear piece. We were going to be using the Waveform, and that is because this is the only way we can squeeze in some bonus damage without taking away damage anywhere else. So you could argue, you could use, say, a Waveform Holster to get 10% bonus skill damage. But that really can't compete with the 30% stack damage that we can get from the Waveform. And the Waveform, of course, comes innately with skill damage and skill haste anyway. So it slots in very well to this build. We did swap out the Waveform, the BTSU gloves for the Waveform. And the reason I did this is the BTSU gloves were not giving us any bonus damage. They did let our Hive come back quicker, but our Hive is not the primary source of damage. Our cluster mines are. And the other thing is the transference overclock, the overcharge that we end up using. I find that running in teams, that's the main reason I use the BTSU gloves, was for the team advantage. I find a lot of teams, guys are running it, and it's just this competition to see who's blowing off their BTSU at the right time, quicker, and oftentimes I find that people are not using it at the most advantageous time. So I just end up doing more damage using Waveform, and if I am running with somebody that has the transference overclock and overcharges us, I just get the bonus damage on top of it. And we have another way of overcharging anyway. As far as the mods that you would use for any of these, you could go between skill haste, just to make sure that you try to get to that between 30.5 and 31.5 skill cooldown. If you can make that, then I'd recommend running armor on kill mods. This will help with your survivability since we don't have any healing innately in the build. And that will also mitigate a bit of that lack of healing through one of our weapons in a minute, which leads us now to what finally puts everything else together, our weapons. So in our primary slot, we can, of course, run with the capacitor. This will give us the largest damage bonus of any weapon that we have. If we get up to the 40 stacks, that'll be 60% bonus skill damage. Also, because we are running 6 skill tiers, that means we will get up to 45% bonus weapon damage. So this will be the highest damage we can do from a weapon, the highest skill damage we could add. It does have a significant ramp up time. You have to get to those 40 stacks before you start doing that damage. So this is a great weapon. However, I do like using it in conjunction with our secondary weapon, and I use this a lot of the time too, is the mop. The mop is a shotgun. It comes with the damage to armor. Damage to armor is awesome. It will give the bonus damage to your cluster mines as well as a stinger hive. The mop comes with 10% armor on kill. So even if we don't spec into armor on kill mods, we can get 10% of our armor back just by having this weapon in our hands when any of our skills get a kill. And then, because we do want to have some bonus damage going on, we go for in sync. Now this is, unlike the perfect in sync, right, which will give you that 40% damage bonus to your skills, you could go with normal in sync on the mop. It's a 30% damage bonus, but all you have to do is get one shot, deploy your skills, and it's really easy to get this damage bonus up. So I highly recommend the mop as your secondary weapon, and most of the time I will just run with the mop as the primary weapon because it's really easy to get that damage bonus without having to ramp it up. I can pop out of cover. We're using glass cannon, so we take a lot more damage. So something that can get your damage ramped up with just one shot, in my mind, in my opinion, is the superior weapon. However, if you have a healer in your team so you can ramp up your capacitor, you will do more damage that way. And that leads us, I mentioned we have a way of overcharging. Our sidearm, we're going to be using the backup boomstick. This is for that 17% damage from shotguns. It has the damage to armor, and we rolled Future Perfect on it. And what this allows us to do is if we see a weakened enemy, we can take them down real quick and get ourselves a nice quick overcharge. This can happen once every minute. So, you know, I never really use this, but it's nice to know, and it looks good in the build, that we do have an overcharge in addition. So, as you guys can see, we're stacking a shit ton of damage, as well as the China Light. So, and that gives us 15. So we also have 25% explosive damage. So that's an additional 25% multiplier. So we got two 25% multipliers going on. We have it with our explosive damage and with the glass cannon. So we are putting out substantial damage. You will see damage numbers substantially higher than your baseline damage. And this is a super easy build to do. All you do, you get yourself into a nice position where the enemy's going to have a hard time getting you. You throw out your cluster mines and drop your Stinger Hive, right? As soon as you see that your hardwire cooldown is up, you go ahead, drop your Stinger Hive again, have the next set of mines, throw the mines out, and rinse and repeat. I mean, you're just throwing those mines over and over and over again. If anybody charges you, you got your Stinger Hive to take care of them, and you can reposition. And the other thing, why would BTSU doesn't matter that much is, if it doesn't matter if I have 1-2 charges in my Stinger Hive, right? I can still use it to proc the cluster mines, and if somebody comes charging up, those 2 charges will still hit enemies, in as many enemies in the area as there is. If you have 3 enemies in the area and the Stinger Hive sends out 1 charge, for some reason it'll still hit all 3 guys. So that's kind of weird. They will get stunned and bleed, and usually by the time I reposition, I'll have at least 1 more charge back, which will allow me to toss out the Hive, cause some more bleed, and usually that will also proc the Hardwire again, so now we have more cluster mines. So it's a real easy build to use as long as you don't put yourself into a very bad position. And when you're running with a team, it's even easier. So I really think this build is a strong build. It's a viable build. There's really not a lot of caveats to it. I mean, and if you're finding that you're really squishy, just switch out Glass Cannon for another perk, probably Overwatch, and you'll be rocking and rolling. So overall, this is just a solid build, agents. You can see there's no mess, no muss, no fuss. You know, you're just going out there doing your thing. I do think it's better with the waveform. You know, there are advantages to using the BTSU gloves, but overall, this is my favorite iteration of the Stinker CQC build so far. But let me know what you guys think. If you see something I'm doing wrong here, if you guys see a way we can get more damage out, if you see something we haven't talked about that you're like, dude, you could add this to the build to make it even better, please comment down below. Of course, do me a favor. Smash that like button. If you guys haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hopefully I've earned that subscription. For what it's worth, guys, I do stream Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. So if you guys want, hit me up on Twitch, same name, Miah-Pinion. Love to see you guys over there. You agents, take it easy. Be as safe as you need to be, and I'll catch you agents in the dark zone.
Oh shit. Oh, and I'm gonna die. It's going. You ready? Okay. Not until after you kill everybody.
Oh, no, you jump the whale right away, you set up right below the ear. You have two people run decoys, and you take shit out.
Bro, you just threw a turret from here? Shit, I didn't know that. What the hell? Can you throw a drone, dude?
Well, there's no way to do this is this way, what I'm saying. The other way,
This is from other kind of team. I threw my turret like across the turret and put it right here. Everybody just use turret. Where do you have to throw your decoy outward too? I'll use one turret and a decoy. Okay.
No, that's if you're to jump the wall right away.
Oh, okay.
But I'm trying to still run one, but it'll be on a DPS build, so it won't be really just enough to get us to the shit.
I don't like to shoot kills, so if my turret shoots anyone, they do.
Alright, there's what, about two things left. The guy in the boat still. And a robot.
Yeah,
Robot's gone.
Can we pause and see?
Alright. Now we can toss out
I gotta change builds.
Hold on, let me pause. Let's see. Okay, we did no threat.
Wait, hold on a second. And when you're ready, we can go.
Okay, let's go.
Hostile assembling golden bullet. Immediate medical
Oh, I
assistance
didn't
needed.
make it. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Just go back. No, no.
Agent down.
That's okay, brother. I could have crawled, but thank you. That's what I would have done. I would have crawled my ass up there.
Received. Golden bullet.
I know I'll just die. Oh, what's
Serious trauma detected.
Oh my.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
We got the helicopter already at the stairs.
What the hell is that?
Decoys out.
Serious trauma detected. Agent down. Hostile has full golden bullet. Vital signs critical. Serious trauma detected. Agent out of action.
Oh shit, he came inside.
Oh shit, what the fuck is that? Just one is dead, bro.
Vital signs critical. Refreshed. Golden bullet. Serious trauma detected. Vital signs critical. Agent down. An agent needs
Oh
assistance.
fuck, bro. Come.
Received. Golden bullet. Hostile facility a golden bullet.
Yeah.
Alright guys, here's just my quick opinion on something, but this whole thing right here where project's finished and now we got everybody in the group and we want to see the end card, the stats, but okay, I'm waiting on a watch level, and look how long I have to wait on this. Come on dudes, the dudes are going to leave, right? But wait, oh, another watch level. We're still waiting. How long? I mean,
Liberty.
you know, we're getting to the point where, you know, okay, somebody's going to leave if this doesn't happen fast. Okay, we already lost somebody. Wait, it's still going. Wait, what is this? Why won't you guys just show... Wait, it's still going. Just show me my end screen, guys. Let me cancel this. Why do I have to... It's still going. Okay, come on, dudes. Now you're just fucking with me, right? We're done, right? No! It's still going. Is somebody else going to leave the group now? So the point is, it's just like, come on, dudes. Look, there it finally is, right? Alright, agents, thanks for checking out this build. As you guys can see, this is as viable, if not more viable, than any build we come up with. Hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season, a wonderful end to 2021. Y'all take care of yourselves. Be as safe as you need to be out there. I will check you agents next year in the Dark Zone. Ba-dee, boop, 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 ba-dee, boop, 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 ba-dee, boop.